For daily Ask Reddit. r/ask Reddit. What is the weirdest thing you've heard or had happen to you while using a public restroom? NSFW. When I was a kid, my parents worked in a university as professors and I would go to their offices after school until they finished work and we would go home. Importantly, the men's and women's bathrooms were right next to each other. And they had the type of ceilings which are tiles resting on a grid type metal grid. One day, I was about 10 years old. I went to the bathroom. I was sitting on the toilet in the stall and for some reason looked up. Directly over my head, there was a guy looking down at me. He had climbed up from the men's side, removed the ceiling tiles, and was peeping at the female college students as they went to the bathroom. Apparently I was the first person that looked up. Dude, this happened at my high school, but the guy got stuck up there and had to get rescued, then expelled. This happened at my middle school. The kid fell through into the girls' room and broke his arm. LMAO. We had kids from the high behavior needs class try to do this, but they had a poor sense of direction and ended up kicking through 5 internal ceiling space walls before giving up 6 classrooms away for the girls' toilets. I walked into a public bathroom at a beach and found a big bearded guy nervously staring at the ceiling above the stall while using the only urinal. As I stepped past him toward the stall, he screamed stop. Since his hands were full of duck, he could only gesture upward with his head. I looked up and saw a very large pigeon sitting in a nest in the corner. With a super thick Slavic dialect, bearded guy says, "Never trust a mother bird." He washed his hands, still staring at the nest, and backed out of the bathroom. In his defense, he did you a solid. Birds might duck you up if you get too close to their nests. The university I went to had Canada geese lay their nests near the front doors of busy buildings. They had to cordon off the nests with caution tape and aggressive goose signs because they are ruthless. You were to loo? Either I know exactly what you're talking about or this is a larger issue than I realized. Nope, your friends down the 401 at Western. We are just as notorious for geese, haha. I've heard of this happening at many Canadian universities. I went to McMaster, and I've had my share of being chased by a goose. My sister always believed in the importance of teaching her son, even from a young age, to use the correct terminology for genitalia. There was no "that's your pee-pee" or "those are your privates." It was always "that is your pen." So the day before Christmas Eve we are doing some last minute shopping. My nephew was mostly potty trained at this time, but still wore a diaper just in case. She goes off to do some shopping, and I take him to the washroom for a change as he has had an accident. As I'm wiping him clean, he screams bloody murder in a washroom full of people. "Auntie, don't touch my pen." I was ducking mortified, worrying that people are thinking I'm molesting him. So I say loudly, yet kindly, "We have to make sure you're clean." I've never been so embarrassed in my life walking out of that stall. And to top it off, I was like 19, but definitely looked younger. TL. Doctor, my nephew screamed at me not to touch his pen in a very busy mall bathroom the day before Christmas Eve. My 3-year-old nephew had an accident last week when I was over. His dad was cleaning him up and he blurted out, "Don't look at my pee-pee, aunt." Name. I wasn't looking anyway, but I'm glad it was just my brother around. Not 2 minutes later he pulled down his pants and said, "Look at my bum." Such an odd child. I went into a Target to take a pee. After relieving myself, it was a photo finish. I turned to wash my hands. In the sink, there was a goldfish in a plastic bag. Now, Target doesn't sell fish, so it was kinda odd to say the least. I could tell there was a person in one of the stalls. Concerned that this goldfish had been abandoned, I nervously asked the dude in the stall if this was his fish in the sink. A deep ass voice boomed back at me, "What?" I repeated my question, "Is this your fish in the sink?" There was a long pause, as if the Target pooper was trying to understand my question. He finally replied, "Nah, man, that ain't my fish." So I took it home, had to buy a whole setup, tank and filter, etc. And that's the story of how I rescued a goldfish from the Target bathroom. You are a good man. Someone was taking a shite and eating and talking on the phone. I was disgusted and impressed with the multitasking. I experienced something similar. I had a very spicy lunch at work. By the time I got off of work, in Chicago traffic, it finally hit me. I desperately got off on the nearest exit, took an extra 30 minutes to get to a 8-minute drive to a ramp for anyone not lucky enough to experience the traffic. Basically about to shite my pants. I get to the nearest gas station. I come into the women's bathroom praying for no one to be in there, since it wasn't about to be pleasant to be in the same room. Come rushing in and find a lady at the mirror. No biggie, she's about to leave, right? No. I sit down and start to do my business. It was not silent, both in sound nor smell. But I still hear her at the mirror, and there was a smacking sound, almost like her doing her mascara. No biggie, she'll get the hint and leave soon. Right? No. I continue. Still there. I finish and come out of the stall to her hunched over the sink, on her phone, while snacking on mini sausages. This chick was full on enjoying herself, while I was violently blowing up the bathroom. She acted completely unfazed, moved out of my way when I needed to wash my hands, and continued to stay in the bathroom when I left. Still on her phone, still eating.